Hello, Nick.
Hi, Greg. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. Tonight, we're doing a reanalysis of St. Ambroise Oatmeal Stout, a well-loved beer amongst Canadian craft beer heads. This has been probably a lot of people's first experience with Oatmeal Stout, but there's maybe a couple of people in here that could prove me wrong, but hell, I know I'm right. So let's get started and say, who do we have with us tonight? We've already got 3 viewers, so if anybody's watching, let us know in the chat what you're drinking tonight, and we'll get started on who's with us, starting with Monsieur Lee of High Tide and Imbibe. Hey, Lee, how's it going tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Nick? Not too bad.
You good?
Yeah.
You good? All right,
Yeah,
that's good. That's
All
good.
right.
It's good.
It's good. All right. Greg. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Nick. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. I like that you get your wedding pictures up behind you now to prove that you actually do have a wife.
This doesn't prove anything. This is just
stock photos. Yeah, it's part of your modeling career back in the aughts.
Back in the 1930s.
Stock photos and a bit of Photoshop. It's all good.
Yeah, no, these just came with the frames. Like, come on, they're great though. But now at least it doesn't look like we have a padded room going. So you decide, you want wedding photos or white wall, because I'll tear this all down and then my wife will be
Jesus.
We spent like 6 hours putting all this shit up. So anyways, yeah, this was all like taped up. She had everything spaced out perfectly and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's still frog tape all over the rest of the house where she's planning everything else, but that's okay.
I feel like a tape measure and a level would kind of accomplish the same thing.
Oh, it did, but then she marked it off, so then then later she could just put the stuff on later.
Weird.
Well, anyway, she's really trying to convince herself that she's into this marriage, isn't she?
Well,
is she aware that the corners of the one, I guess, on your right?
No. Yeah. She can't hear you, Redbeard. Anyways, I'm here to enjoy this wonderful Noir à Lavoine. I'm sure I pronounced that completely perfect. And otherwise all is well. How are you, Nick? Tell us about yourself.
I'm trying to line my face up with the duck right now.
You kind of look like you're doing something to the duck. I'm not exactly sure.
You can be side by side and it would still look the same. It's fine.
All right. Wow. All right.
Nothing wrong with licking a corkscrew penis.
Mm-hmm. Right. Anyway. Hi, Ashley. Follow that up.
How's it going?
Not too bad.
I'm doing great. Hope everyone else is doing great. Glad to be here. It's been a few weeks. So
it's been a few weeks since you were last time.
Yeah, it's been a few
weeks. Glad to have you back here because you were actually on the original St. Ambroise episode back in 2019.
Yes, and I'm glad I didn't revisit it. So I'm going into this is probably the the last time I had it was probably on the analysis. So it'll be interesting to see how I feel about it.
All right,
cool.
Okay. Anyway, speaking of St. Ambroise original stout, St. Ambroise Oatmeal Stout is basically like the bat signal for Guy. So as soon as we lit up that we were going to have that, I kind of had a feeling this guy would be on. But Mr. Guy is here from Canada.
He asked what beer was this week. And he did it in the chat like 20 minutes ago.
It was an hour ago.
Made it to the store and okay, fine.
I would be shocked if Guy ever didn't have this beer in his fridge.
Well, that was the other part of the joke. It's like I didn't have to tell him it was. You had to tell him it was this week, but
that is the worst thing you can do. Is beer is put in the fridge.
Really?
There we go.
If you want the orgasm, well, okay. If you put it in the fridge, it's like you're going to strippers. You can't touch. You can look. They get the blue balls. But if you want the full thing, you're drinking the warm. Fucking leave it on the ground.
I mean, the logic's sound.
The grocery store I just bought it is cold, so I'm fucked either way.
Grocery store.
And I had it first 10 years ago.
Nice. All right. We'll circle back to the history stuff. So thank you, Guy. Let's go over to last, but definitely, it's definitely not least. I mean, we all love red beer around here, don't we? So it's actually nice to have him back on, considering you've been working every Wednesday lately.
Yes. Good to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you back on there, Beardo. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So let's
ignore the pile of randomness there. That's just yeah.
I see that. All right.
Things
So
are
let's
happening.
yeah, I see you're moving in your new locale.
Yes.
As long
I'm
as there's
doing
no dead
okay.
bodies over there.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
All right, so let's bring up last episodes. Back on August 29th of
was on it.
2019. Right, of course you were on it. Ashley was on it. The only person here not here that was on it was Chris, and of course we now have a Lee and a Redbeard with us tonight, which I'm sure are no strangers to this beer either. So so the ratings were pretty good. It was 8.4 for style overall, and of course we had the overall enjoyment of 8.1. And looking at Guy's score, he pretty much jizzed himself and gave it an overall of a 10. Let's see if that holds up tonight.
I really didn't like it.
Resurrection. Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, like,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure in that episode it scored in the 8s because you brought the score down.
Shit.
6, 7, and 6.5. Like you were having a bad hair day or something.
I was having a really bad day. Because that's even low for me overall.
Oh,
All right. So, if for those who don't know what St. Ambroise Oatmeal Stout is, their brewery that opened up in 1988 in Lachine, Quebec, which outside of Montreal, I believe. It was opened by Peter McCausland and his wife Ellen, who decided to pursue the craft brewing full time. They opened up on St. Ambroise Street in Montreal, in the Montreal's St. Henri district, in January 1989, and their pale ale was the first beer that they made. Since opening, they've become particularly famous for their St. Ambroise and Griffin brands, so it's still located in St. Ambroise Street today, although it's since moved to a larger location. A lot of people will know St. Ambroise for their apricot week. They also make a pretty decent imperial stout every year, and a vintage ale, as well as other beers too, like a Scotch ale, Baltic Porter. They got a multitude of different IPAs. I noticed that they just launched, like, I'm not sure if it's new or not. I doubt it is new, but I saw that pack you guys can get in Ontario. It's got what the milk stout, the Baltic Porter, and is it the black IPA as well as the
black
IPA?
IPA.
Yeah, like
That's the pack I had to buy.
they were all pretty good. Yeah. If I recall, those beers are all pretty good. In fact, we even did the Baltic Porter once on Beer Analysis. All right, so the St. Rose Oatmeal Stout is 5% ABV, 45 IBU oatmeal stout brewed with Cascade, Willamette, and Golding hops. It's also won multiple awards. Amongst its awards were 9 platinum medals awarded at the 1994 World Beer Cup, so a while ago. Gold at the 2012 Canadian Brewing Awards, and gold at the 2011 Beverage Tasting Institute Awards. So that's pretty well stacked beer. All right, bring that back off here. Put me in the middle, and I'm gonna go around and talk to everybody who's here. Now I know that Lee wasn't on the original episode, but I'm pretty sure you can talk to us for a while about what was your history with this one.
So I've had this. I was able to get this even before I started doing beer reviews. I don't know how fucking long ago that was. I know I started doing beer reviews like 12 years ago. I went and looked on my original review tonight. Gave this beer glowing praise back in the day with my stupider palate. And we'll see how it goes tonight. But yeah, this has been kind of a go-to for me ever since I started drinking craft beer, because it was one of the first ones I could get a hold of. And, it was either at the NSLC, you'd get this, maybe a couple of the other St. Ambroise stuff, or you'd get a bunch of Belgian shit, and then like Propeller and Garrison, and that was about it. And so this has always kind of been on the NSLC shelves. It's gone away once or twice, but it's always come back, thankfully. And it's always been a kind of a staple of, like, yeah, you feel like some go-to beers, and especially if you like a stout, get some fucking St. Ambroise. You can't go wrong. So I'll get more into that when we do the review or whatever. But yeah, this has been a part of my craft brew drinking life ever since it really started. So, yeah. And also, just want to mention, wasn't Guy a lot cooler when he had a big beard?
You're not wrong.
Get cool,
He
Guy.
had that awesome beard, like in the thumbnail we used right here. Yeah,
That's
you
what
can
I'm
see
saying. I'm like, wow, look at that
amount
guy.
of facial hair, and he had even. I think you're pretty sure you had it even longer. Like it almost had the dawn level at one point.
Yeah.
I thought he was cooler when he was in
pulled my hair
Ontario.
on top. I pulled on my hair that the beard just followed. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It just sort of slid off your head.
Wow.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Lee. Let's go over to who's next. We got, I think it's, I didn't write down the order. Shit. Hi, Greg. Greg is no wonder Greg is smart.
It's me.
Forgot.
Uh,
Had a rough week.
That's okay, Nick. I like to sneak in on you. So my first official time I've had this beer, since we know if it's not on Untappd, you haven't had it. And anything you say else is a lie. So the first time I apparently had this beer is November 1st, 2014, the infamous night where I drank 550 beers in one night and somehow survived. But actually, off the record, so this is all a lie, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Off the record, I had this pretty early in my beer journey. I would say circa 2012, and it was actually the third St. Ambroise beer I had, simply because they were easy enough to get. So I started with the pumpkin, like that. Then I had the apricot. I also like that. And then I tried this beer. I don't think I liked it that much the first time I had it because I was just not ready for a dark beer yet. I was this doesn't taste like a lager. I don't like it. And I like the apricot. It was nice and flavored. I kind of dug pumpkin beers. I still like both those beers. The apricot's actually a pretty good beer. This one's definitely grown on me over the years. I've officially I had it 6 times, but I'm sure unofficially I probably had it like 30, 40 times. Not nearly as many as Guy, but I'm for somebody in Toronto, it's not bad. Toronto-ish.
All right. Yeah, so I guess the main question is there, Greg, since the last time you had it, since you were on the original B801, have you had it again?
Oh, definitely. I have been loving those 4-packs. In fact, I'm going to grab a few more of those because quite frankly, all 4 of the beers are pretty good, even though I'm not crazy about the milk stout, but it's decent. The other 2 I really like, and this one I really like, spoilers. This is one of those I'll just see on the shelf every now and then. I'm like, I don't know what to buy, so I grab 2 of these. In general, like I wish we got more Saint Ambroise stuff because always I'm just like, great, they're on the shelf. I know there's going to be at least a certain level of quality with the brewery. Like I trust them enough to know I'm not going to get anything bad from them. So it's like, oh, great, I'll grab this off the shelf. I'll drink it. I'll enjoy it. I won't have to think about it too much. Thinking's never been my strong suit. I'm no sexton. So there you go. That's my story. So yes, I've definitely had it. But how many times I've had it since last time? I don't know. More than 1 and less than 100.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Greg. Let's go over to Ashley. I almost said the Slugs word, but hi, Ashley. What's your history? Since you were actually on the original BA 101, so have you had this since that episode?
Yeah, so I decided to take Greg's advice, and I did reference my Untappd because, again, if it wasn't there, it didn't happen. So I did have it back in 2017, actually. I won't tell you what I gave it back then. And then I probably had it a bunch of times between then and the review, but I honestly don't think I've had it since then. I mean, if I had, like maybe once or twice. Oh, you know what? No, I must have because I had that 4-pack last year, the exact same 4-pack. So I would have had this last year. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, I mean, I see it all the time. Yeah, not something I always would have reached for. But that's just
would you have reached around for it?
I didn't reach around for a lot. I'll be completely honest. This past year, I haven't been buying a lot at the LCBO because it's all been dribs and drabs. But I've been what I was drinking mostly actually were like pilsners.
Yeah, same.
And lagers. Yeah. looking for IPLs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually dark lagers. It basically filtered stuff, but that was more of a gut thing than anything.
Right.
Else, so.
We're all getting old.
Yeah. Schwarz beers, man. I would have crushed Schwarz beers all summer if they were readily available.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you, Ash. Let's go over to Mr. Guy. And Guy, you were also on the original BA 101 for this. So here's a big question, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Have you had this again since the 2019 original BA 101 for this beer?
Yeah, well, the mix pack you're talking about like that twice. Actually, the first iteration wasn't like a bottle pack. They started with that, and I had the can version after.
Okay. Nice. All right. And let's finish it off with Mr. Redbeard. And Redbeard, you were not on the original, but what's your history of this beer?
I reviewed it 2017, I think what said the video was. Yeah. And the intro to the video, I had it like 10 times before. It was one of those beers that I bought for review purposes. But then one night I didn't have anything to drink, so I was like, I can get this one again. And ended up just doing that again and again and again because I really, really like this beer. I gave it a 9.5 in my video. The 0.5 being taken off because of their complete lack of ingredients they had going back then. They have like a weird thing going on now, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it many times.
Nice. Alrighty. And go on my history. Have I had this beer again since I last had it? I'd like to backtrack a little and just say, like, this is one of the first, like, it's definitely the first oatmeal stout I ever had. If I go all the way back to my formative craft beer years of like 2009, 2010, when I first had this one, and it's just been one of those ones like I don't have it all the time, but hardly a few months goes by without me either buying a can of it. So, question of whether or not I've drank this since, of course I have. It disappeared here for a while actually. Like it was in bottles, and you could buy it in 6-pack bottles. It was almost like 6-pack bottle from when time began at the NB Liquor. Then the bottles disappeared. It was like the year or two ago, and then all of a sudden we started getting them in cans, and then the cans all disappeared. Like basically everything from St. Ambroise disappeared, and then the cans just randomly showed up again. So I was a little disappointed with St. Ambroise just disappearing from NB Liquor shelves because like holy shit, it's St. Ambroise. You can't take that away. That's been there forever. And not only that, this is a solid beer. So when it came back and I saw it a couple of months ago, I'm like, shit, I'm buying some. So yes, I have had it since. One of the things I used to love doing with this beer, though, and it sounds weird. And of course, I'm weird. Everybody knows that. But that I noticed is that at least when the bottles were, I haven't tried it with a can, but when the bottles were still here, I would actually take those and I would age them for like 6 months or 12 months. For some reason, they fucking sharpen right up. They taste so good when they've had a little bit of time on them. Like maybe when they're fresh. When they're fresh, they almost have like a harsh bitterness to them, which is part of the beer. But it's when that tempers off and you get way more chocolate and smooth and stuff like that. It just amazes me. It's only a 5% ABV beer in it.
I miss those 6-packs of bottles. I really do.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. I miss the bottles more than the can. I'm glad I still have it, but I'd rather have the bottles. All right. So we got a ton of comments. Anybody want to volunteer for reading?
I will go through them.
All right.
Okay, so we had some opening highs. We had Jamie in the basement saying hi, Greg. And we had
Jamie.
And we had the lovely Lee Hardy saying hi, Ashley.
Hi, Lee.
And talking about spidey senses were tingling. That's in response to Guy and determining what beer was going to be reviewed tonight. We got Jamie saying skinny Ashley making all the rest of us fatties feel bad about ourselves. What a jerk.
Yeah, fuck you, Ashley.
I never suspected that Ashley's going to turn out to be the fat shamer in the group, but I mean it's where it is.
Always the one you least expect.
Yeah. We got fucking Radar in the chat.
Oh, fuck you, Radar.
Saying Guy at the very least needs a mustache back. I agree. You got to get some sort of strong facial hair game going again, Guy.
Girlfriend said no.
Jesus. Oh, he's ruined.
No
He's
mustache.
ruined. Oh, my God.
Funny
What
uncle is no more funny uncle.
Man, okay. You're dead to us, Guy. Lee goes on to say, what's next week's beer? And I told her, your what's next week's beer.
Wow.
And then Jamie said, hairy face Nick making fun of smooth face Guy. What a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nick. Why are you doing that, Nick?
Why do I not see that comment on my side? I can't.
It's one of because it like YouTube considers it fat shaming, so I needed to like
What?
Well,
What?
well, I mean, no, I was thinking of the previous one, but Jamie's comments all tonight are like getting fucking flagged for some reason. So
Really?
I assume there's another.
Oh.
I assume
Because
there's
Jamie's a jerk.
yeah, there's some keywords in there or something that he's using that are. I have to allow them. So and then Lee goes on to say it's fascinating that she's next week's beer, and she said she never knew she could be a beer. And I said, it's 2022. You can be anything you want.
I mean, she's
And
already
then-
got the yeast.
Mm-hmm. And then Lee said,
Jesus.
goes on to say, naughty Jamie. So there you go.
Oh.
We love naughty Jamie. The man needs a spanking.
He does.
Jesus.
And then Jamie says, YouTube shaming me. What a jerk.
Wow.
Well, that one went through. So we know jerk isn't the key word there.
I think it was fatties.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised.
Fatties.
There might even be like a fucking live Google monitor on there as well, like limiting comments. Sometimes they do
waiting
that.
for us to say something that gets us
Like
taken
fatties.
down.
Oh, I
Well,
I
also-
just think fatties a lot.
if any
Like, I mean-
live stream warrants an actual person keeping an eye on it, it's definitely this one.
Yeah, this one where there's like three
Yeah,
people watching.
imagine
It's like,
somebody's being paid to watch this and monitor it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you why fucking Google Tube is such a piece of shit. But you know,
Fatties.
And also,
mm-hmm.
Well, part of me wonders what if it's like, the fatties triggered some algorithm in YouTube, and then the next 3 comments are censored, and then
That could be it as well.
then Jamie's out of prison.
Or it might just be Jamie has a history of doing this all over fucking YouTube, and I don't know.
He's flagged.
You're a toxic individual, Jamie. You should straighten up. And then
Doesn't
Lee
he
is
have
like,
doesn't he have his other channel, the Beer Holocaust or whatever the fuck it is?
no, that's a different person.
Oh, I thought that was Jamie.
No, Lee is like, why am I watching? Doing this for free? I don't know. You're a brazen hussy. What can I tell you?
Well,
Jesus.
She wouldn't disagree with me.
Saw that
I
comment.
mean,
that
again,
time.
he's out of line, but he speaks the truth.
Then we got Jamie saying, watching the fatties.
Oh, he's testing
That's
the
like
algorithm.
most of the chat, especially that Greg guy.
Maybe Greg is the key word that gets you banned.
That also could be a possibility.
try combining them. Like all fatties are jerks or something. See what happens then.
All Gregs are fatties.
Or just jerking it to the fatties.
Wow. Tugging your fatty.
Yeah.
And just drop a bunch of other slurs in there and just see what happens.
Welcome to PA 101, where we review beers, guys. Yeah.
We review beers and try to figure out algorithms that are much smarter than we are.
I'm ready to talk about this beer.
Me too.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hey, Lee's already up there on the screen. Let's let him talk.
Mm.
So what do you
So
think? Is opinion changed or sorry, go ahead.
I think my opinion pretty much holds true. I gave it back in the day when I reviewed it. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and then that didn't take into account necessarily overall and style or whatever. Back in the day I didn't know style worth a shit really, but I knew I liked it. That's all that was important back then. It's still a beautiful looking beer. Like you gotta hand it to Saint Ambroise. Their quality really doesn't fluctuate too much, especially on their core beers. And like this one has always just been really fucking good. Like I've been able to tell, like, sometimes there's been maybe some little variations in batches here and there, whatever, but it's always been an excellent fucking beer. It looks beautiful. It looks the part. Like, you look at that and you go, okay, yeah, that's a stout. Nice tan head, pitch black right through, unless you hold a serious ass light through it. It's maybe a little bit thin, but that's Paul in his browbeating on all of our collective consciousness about stouts that makes me say that. Really, it's a 5% stout. It's not supposed to be super thick. I feel like it's got, at the very least, kind of a lower medium body to it, which is perfectly fine for this. The head stays around. It looks beautiful. It smells fucking great. Oatmeal and chocolate and char. You get into the taste, and it's basically just a direct transference from the nose to the mouth. Nice bitterness, nice char at the end. Lingers very, very well. You get a little bit of chocolate up front when you're drinking it, and it's a fucking great stout, man. Like, it's sort of stood the test of time. It's a very, at this point, just like an all-time fucking classic beer, really, in my estimation. I'm going to give it a 10 for style, and I'm going to give it a 10 for my personal preference. I love this beer. Can't fault it, honestly. There might be some nostalgia, like, in there. Like I was telling you, I missed the 6-packs. Then I think about buying 6-packs of this, and I think about all the other beers I used to have back in the day that I could get contemporary to this, and how many of those beers are not around anymore, but this is still around, and it's still as good as it used to be. So I love this beer. It's great.
It's an interesting way to put it. I like that idea. When you compare it to all the beers you used to drink back then, and then you've got this one, and this one still holds up. All right, awesome. Thank you, Lee. That's let's move over to Mr. Gorg. Hi, Greg.
Hello. I also
unless you want to go after Ashley.
Did you
get enough tasting notes from Lee?
I can just record what he says, but you know what? No, Lee gave me some pretty good stuff to copy, so that's okay.
All right.
I've learned Ashley hasn't been with us for a while, so I've learned to live without him. So he's like an absentee father. Hi, Ashley. But anyways, I like this beer quite a bit as well. I don't like it quite as much as Lee, but I'm still pretty up there with it. I think it punches above its weight class for what I consider to be a low ABV stout. And by my definition, if it's not 9% or higher, it's low ABV, and it shouldn't exist because stout should always be 9% or higher, preferably 10% or higher, but 9% is okay. So for this session stout, I actually think it punches above its weight class in terms of both. It's not thin. I don't think it's thin, at least for the ABV. I mean, if this was 10%, sure, it's not super thick, but I think for what it is, it's thick enough. Got tons of flavor to it. One thing I'm not loving about it, I'm getting a little bit of a metallic taste from it, and I have gotten this from the last few cans I've had of this, so I know it's not just this particular can. Not sure why that is, but I don't love it.
Do you think you're maybe reading the char as metallic, because it is a very very intense kind of char to it?
I do have a stupid palate. When I try to translate that palate into English, so it's perfectly possible. But see, to me, I interpret the char as a different taste. I do get char on this. I do get char. I get a little chocolate, and I get a little sweetness. But I do have that underlying metallic taste. Now, I will say, I don't know if Guy said this online or offline. I don't remember. But as this beer is warming up, I'm getting less and less of that metallic taste, and I'm liking this beer actually more and more. So good for you, Guy. You're actually right. This beer is actually better as you get closer to room temperature. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to go a little higher than I had planned to, because this beer is actually getting a little better as it warms, and I'm sort of not getting that taste anymore, which was putting me off at first. So for overall style, I gotta actually go 10 on this, because I can't off the top of my head think of any stout that's this low ABV that is better than this.
What was it?
Especially not something that's regularly available. Like I'm sure maybe I've had something that's better than this that's 5%, but nothing I can recall that I can just grab off any shelf and be like, here's a 5% stout and I enjoy this. Like, of course, yeah, I prefer something like Tempest, but that's 9%. It's not really fair. But the fact that I'm even comparing the two kind of tells you something. Personal enjoyment, not going to go with Lee on this one. It's not a 10 for me, but it's a 9. I really do enjoy this. I got to say, take Guy's advice, drink this beer closer to room temperature, because I was going to go at least a point in each category lower 10 minutes ago, and this is getting better. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with. 9 for personal enjoyment, and I think it's a 10 for style. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a 5% stout that's better than this.
All right. All right. Thank you, Greg. Let's go over to Ashley.
Alrighty. So, do a proper analysis since I'm not here very often. This beer deserves a really good analysis. So, the appearance was actually really beautiful. Nice dark color. I don't know. Put your dark as whatever cliche you want to put in there, but the head was nice mocha head. Stayed around for quite some time. Laced the glass, super nice. Aroma at towards the end as it warmed up and it sort of opened. I mean, I'm drinking it out of a goblet, like out of this instead of like a proper pint glass, but I get a lot nice punch of chocolate. There's a sweetness there that lingers. I sort of envision like a sort of like a chocolate orange type of thing. Because I sort of cheated. There's the Cascade on there and the Willamette, and those can mean like a little orangey. Well, the Cascade can at sometimes. So I was sort of picking up Guy's orange, chocolate orange, and then but yeah, I mean, beautiful aroma, nice appearance. The sip is this beer is way more bitter than what I thought I was going to get, right? Which for me, you'd normally think was like something welcome, but it was I was expecting like more of an oatmeal stout, and for whatever reason, I completely forgot what this beer was all about, and I sort of understand where my scoring was going last time. So, hold on a second. I mean, it has a nice body. I agree with Lee. It's like medium low, but it's nice and smooth. Coats the palate nicely. But yeah, there's a real aggressive bitterness that carries all the way through to the back. Something really charry. It's really ashy. I found it to be a little actually like chalky a little bit maybe, but it had a nice body for the ABV it has. I just personally feel that the bitterness sort of takes it too far for the amount of body it has. Maybe if it was a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit more oats, because I was expecting something a little bit less bitter, a little less bitter, a little bit creamier. But so I think I gave it a lower score for style last time. So I could see why. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, 6.5. I was probably just being really douchey. But I will give this a 7.75 for style, and I actually like it. It's really good beer. I just I wish there was like a bumped up version of it. You know what I mean? Like keep that bitterness, maybe amp the bitterness like 10%, but give me like this as an 8% beer, because this drinks like a nice this is a nice core stout. It's not an oatmeal stout. This is a nice core stout. You can do a lot of things with this beer. I mean, obviously, as they have.
Imagine a bourbon barrel aged version somehow.
But I would love to see this with a proper amount of like oats in it to give it a nice luscious like oily body, and then give me like an extra like 2.5%. Like give me a nice 7.5, like something under 8, something right around 6.5 to 7.5. That'd be amazing. But I mean, it's just not an oatmeal stout, so that's why I sort of have to give it a few knocks for the style. But I mean, overall, it's really tasty beer. So,
all right, awesome. what did you see your overall enjoyment?
Overall, I'll give it an 8.25.
8.25. Ooh, fancy. All right, there. Thank you, Ashley. Let's move over to Guy. Hey, Guy.
Hi.
Hey.
I just get up because I fucking love the oatmeal dad's cookies. I get that
Yes.
chocolate and
Mm.
fucking love this beer. Yeah, it's still gonna be like a 10 for me easily. Like, so I don't know what else to say. I just love this beer. But yeah, it's like don't let it get to room temperature. Fucking leave it on your floor for like a day. Then try that. That'll be like fucking chocolate cake in your face. I'm telling you.
Leave the heater turned off and chill the room down, but put it on the floor, drink it at like 14 degrees.
It would be possible. I would microwave it, but microwaving beer is a very bad idea.
Well, if you had the glass bottle, you could microwave it. Just take the bottle.
Oh, that would be a mistake.
Alcohol and microwaves. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, no, that's.
All right. So is that 10 and 10?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Guy. Let's go over to Redbeard. What do you think, Redbeard?
I'm pretty much going to echo what Greg said across the board, more or less. Like for what it is, it being 5%, it comes across as maybe like a 7 or something like that. Like you'd think it's, again, like I'm with Greg, and a stout should start at like 8%. Like what's the point of these 5%? The bitterness, I like it. It's sweet. It's tasty. It's great. What Greg said, 10 style, 9 enjoyment.
10 style, 9 enjoyment. Wow, I think this is going to be a pretty highly rated beer tonight.
This is great.
This is Carrie.
Right,
It's
going
to
to carry on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to carry beer right there.
Mhm.
All right. Anyway, I guess it's my turn to finish this off. Yeah, like I get what everybody's saying. It is considering it's a 5% ABV beer, it's amazing how good this is. You would think like some kind of craft stout over the years would just maybe have a slightly higher, like a 6 or something like that, and deliver maybe not even as much as the pack of the punch here. When the appearance of this thing is gorgeous. Like I think Ashley had pointed out that it had this big, thick, moosey head to it, mocha head to it. Taste the taste. The smell carries into the taste, and it's like a smooth, dark chocolate, smoky, roasty. I feel like it's got like a lingering dark roast, or dark chocolate, a little bit roasty bitterness that lingers in the back, along with a little bit of earthiness. I feel like the can version, if I'm remembering the bottles, because I used to love drinking the bottles, I feel like the can's a little bit more metallic, and I think Greg had mentioned the metallic part. And then I think Lee's called them baby palate on that one, but I get what Greg is saying with the metallic.
No,
part. I feel like
I wasn't disagreeing with him. I'm just if that's what he gets, that's what he gets. I mean, that's
like I get all the char, I get all the dark roast, I get that like the smokiness that's imparted into this thing. It's fucking gorgeous in that department. I just feel like compared to the bottle my recollection of the bottle version, this one's a little bit thinner and a little bit more metallic, and I'm not sure if that's really coming from the can or the coating from inside the can into the beer.
It's probably more the hops. It's got Goldings in it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the oats. If you get more fresher oats, oats has that weird aftertaste. That's like
it's got that British hop component to it a little bit, like you're kind of bordering into the copper coin thing. I feel like that's kind of combining with the just the natural char of the whole fucking thing, and then kind of maybe pushes it over the edge a little bit. But I mean, I'm just speculating, of course. I don't know, but
yeah. Anyway, yeah, my score is going to be pretty much identical to what I gave it 3 years ago. Anyway, it's just you are hard pressed to find a stout at 5% ABV that's better than this. That this is a fantastic beer, and there's a reason why I buy it a lot. And I was sad when it disappeared from Indie Liquor Sales, because I like this beer. This is like one of those, like Lee was saying, like think about all the beers that we drank when like 10, 12 years ago, when we were first really getting into craft beers. And like how many of those beers from back then are still around? Like almost none of them. and yet this one's still lingering around, being just as fucking tasty as everything new out there. So
I remember drinking this in the same time that I could get 6-packs from the Propeller Brewing Company of Sharp Angus Hemp Ale, which was a short-lived yet awesome dark beer with hemp in it.
I had a hemp beer one time. It was also tasty.
Yeah, I remember Big Type made a hemp beer that I just. Anyway, so St. Ambroise really holds up, stands the test of time. Even got it in the original glass, the OG glassware, and it's a 9 for style, and like it's still pretty much to me the oatmeal stout I measure other oatmeal stouts up against, and for overall enjoyment, an 8.5, which I think is close to the lowest, but I really do still love this beer. All right, so that's me. While I do the mathematics on the re-review, anybody want to read comments?
Yep, I'll keep them going here.
All
okay,
right.
so we had Lee was talking about doing this for free, watching this. She was wondering why she's watching this. And Jamie was saying watching for the fatties, and then Lee goes on to say, don't Greg it up. Which terrible insult to Greg there.
No, it's about right.
And then okay.
Great.
In a response to my review of the beer, Lee goes on to say, I think Lee may be in love. And then I told her, of course, well, you've seen me in love before, so she, of course, would know.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And then Lee says, in response to the sort of metallic taste that Greg was getting, she says, maybe your mouth is bleeding.
Oh.
And then
Greg, I thought she was referring to you there. I didn't realize she was talking to me.
Yeah, no, because I figured that's what it was. Because your next comment was Lee's got to earn his Red Wings.
That's right.
And then she said or not, and I said I will pass. Yes, thank you very much. That's fine. Then we got Bubba Sadie's in the comments saying, "Yep, what Lee said."
Ooh.
So apparently they agree with my review. And then, talk of leaving it on the floor and all that stuff. Lee Hardy's like, leave it on the throw. But she actually meant floor.
Boil it.
I mean, it could be the throw rug on the floor. She said boil it. Perfect idea. Bubba Sadie says, it's dark season. Do Clifford's Porter next.
If I could get it, that
that
would actually be an awesome beer if I could get it.
You want all of our addresses, Bubba Sadie's? So you can send it out to us. Then Lee says, good thing I didn't show up tonight. I would have tanked the score.
Not necessarily. That this could have been this could have been the palette shift. This could have been the stout that you like. You don't know.
Yeah, this could have been the one.
You never know.
Then we got Dan asking the question, what's next week's beer or something?
Yeah, but we need it in whatever language is next on Radar's list.
You missed Bubba Sade's question.
No, he didn't.
No.
It's dark beer season. Do Clifford's Porter.
No, I said that.
I'm sorry. I missed that. Yeah. Apologies. And I would second that because I had Clifford's Porter the other day and it fucking sucked. And I was
What?
Really?
I know.
I was
surprised.
That beer.
It was a thin, watery mess.
Wow.
What?
Now I really want to do it just because I want to hear Ashley insult it.
Well, go have one. It was just this past weekend.
I remember having it and being really impressed with it.
I've always loved Clifford's Porter. I will still buy it again, but whatever happened on this batch was no bueno.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, listen, it's double Tempest season, so if any beer mails start going out to Nick's direction, maybe I'll send some Clifford's Porter out.
There you go.
Yeah. Lee goes on to say, don't Greg it up was about the comments being monitored. So, don't Greg it up or your comment will get, censored. But, I feel like she was talking about something else and she's just trying to cover up at this point. Then she goes on to say, I asked before because I thought Radar was going to ask it in a different language. And he failed me.
She's just backtracking a lot of things right now.
She really is. It's terrible to see someone who I thought was a forthright, upstanding young lady to all of a sudden like trying to worm her way out of all this stuff. I don't know. Then Jamie says, "Wow, Clifford Porter was always great, but it's been many months since I had one." There you go. And I mean, is there any end to your offensive comments, Jamie? Can you just stop already tonight? Fuck.
God. I was about to use Greg names as what we like.
Yeah, okay, whatever, Lady Lee. We believe you. Okay. Yeah.
I think so. I think she was about to use a bad word, but luckily Google corrected and added an L in that last word.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, so thank you, Lee. Let's put me back up on screen because I'm going to introduce tonight's scores, which are Style,
Woo!
9.5, overall 9.1. I think we liked it tonight.
So yeah, that did better than last time, I think, right?
That did like a whole point better than last time on both scores, I think. It was like 8-4 and 8-1 last time. And we still had a pretty full panel that week.
The only thing is you should have like an even better picture of Guy on.
Well, I like really dragged this one fucking straight down to hell, eh?
But that's
No,
from the
no,
that's
it's
from
Not this time you didn't. You redeemed yourself.
Yeah, if anything, this indicates your palate has actually gotten slightly better, Ashley.
There we go.
Well, I basically cockblocked this from getting 10s across the board.
It's fine.
But that is the first time I reviewed it 10 years ago. I did review it 4 years after room temperature, but that's like that's that freaking 10 years ago.
It's no Gonzo Imperial Porter. Let's just say.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of, just because I want to open this beer, 2015 Russian Imperial Stout from St. Ambroise.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow, Nick's drinking a beer.
This isn't next week's beer, considering I only had the one. I just wanted to show all the St. Ambroise fans this beautiful.
Wouldn't that be funny if that was next week's beer and Nick is like, I just want to show you. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, unfortunately, no shit. That's the last one.
If that had just exploded on you, that would have been the funniest thing ever.
exactly.
All
right, but what is next week's beer? We'll introduce that now, which is going to be another Ontario brewery. This is from Lost Craft, their Neapolitan ice cream stout.
Oh, he's got the Baltic Porter.
He's got the 4-pack.
He's got the Baltic Porter.
Yeah, I got the Baltic Porter too.
Well, they have all of them separately at the grocery store.
They're gorgeous.
Ballsack Porter.
Yeah.
Ballsack Porter.
I like the 4-pack as I mentioned. It's a very nice 4-pack.
It's a really good deal. It's like $12. Like, yeah.
I like Baltic Porter as well. That one is a nice one.
Dan says we are now calling them Ukrainian Imperial Stouts. Yeah, fuck you, Dan.
Wow.
We're not all calling them that. Not all of Russia
Roman.
supports the war, so you just piss off.
Maybe just call them Polish.
Well, there's also the thing that the Imperial Stouts are actually British. It was a British export to Russia.
Wow.
Through the court of St. Catherine. So fuck Russia. We're sending them this way now.
And also, I just want to point out, as much as there's, the Ukrainian military is doing very well against Russia, a lot of Nazis in the Ukrainian military. You might not want to praise them all that much right now. There's bad people on both sides of this war because it's a war, and that tends to happen.
That looks tasty, Nick.
It is.
I hope it's not sour.
Is it really like a war as much as like just like Russia?
Okay, let's wrap it up.
Invaded, like
it's still
a war now,
right.
but yeah.
Oh my God! When did this get so political?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
all right,
Chris ain't gonna watch this.
Yeah, right.
Hey, does anyone here like?
No, he'll get all the end and I'll close. Oh God! All right, fuck all you have. All right, so yeah, let's finish this off. Tune in next week when we do Lost Crafts Neapolitan ice cream stout. Probably won't be quite as many of us around, but we leave you, of course, with Redbeard's penis.
Chris Peters killed all those women.
Well, yeah, that's.